Valorant patch 10.07 just dropped, and with it we are seeing a bunch of bug fixes as well as the aftermath of the last patch's buffs to Kayo and nerfs to Vyse. We also need to take a look at how Waylay has been performing since her brand new debut as the newest duelist in Valorant. The meta is shaking up quite a bit, so let's take a look at it. But before we get into it, if you feel like you've been struggling in ranked recently, then have we got the treat for you. Over at SkillCapped, we recently published a brand new calm aim course that details how any one of you could develop radiant level aim in just a few weeks. While most players just aim in whatever way feels most comfortable, it might surprise you to hear that there's actually a proper aiming technique that pros use to not only make themselves more consistent, but to also help them get more kills like this. In our course, we will teach you all about this proper technique and even provide you with an aim training routine that you can use to instantly start improving your aim and climbing today. Now, unlike other routines, this is a simple less than 15-minute exercise that you can do before you play that will do wonders for your aim. Not only that, but our site is literally backed by a rank improvement guarantee, so if you don't climb, you don't pay. If you're really looking to climb this act, or you just want to actually start fragging out in your matches, then be sure to check out our new calm aim course using that link below. Now, starting off, let's talk about Waylay again. In our last tier list, we made the prediction that Waylay wouldn't be too strong in the current meta, but now we have some more information to go off of after she's been performing in pro play, and honestly, we've got to say we're still not really impressed. Waylay has been seeing some experimentation in China and very little in North America, which actually kind of makes sense if you think about her kit. She's very support reliant, and although some pro teams might find use for her, for general ranked play, we just don't really recommend picking her up. That being said, we are open to admit that there are some redeeming parts of her kit that provide her some potential. For example, the instant dismiss that you can get from her refract while jumping is really nice, and being able to vertically dash as well does provide some options other agents might not always have. We still believe that there's potential that Waylay is stronger than has been let on so far, but for now, we don't really think that you should be the one to tap into that potential. As far as other options are concerned, despite previous nerfs, Neon is still performing very well. Very high win rate across the board in ranked, which is exciting to see for another agent that is somewhat team reliant. It seems like the slide changes that they made previously nerfing her accuracy didn't really change her all that much. She's still very much a fan favorite in ranked. Now, her pro pick rate is still pretty even with other duelist agents, namely Jett and Reyna, with 1-star duelists still basking in the sunlight. Yoru seems to be the one of the favorite duelists in the game currently. Now, his ranked win rate still seems fairly low, likely due to his skill ceiling, but in pro play, it's clear that teams are favoriting him for just how much he can bring to a team comp. He's got quite literally everything on his side, with team flashes, repositions, op-in capabilities, and even info gathering. Yoru is incredibly strong right now, and we're going to keep saying it until the end of time. Now, whether you're able to tap into that potential is on you, but you're definitely missing out if you are sleeping on the current Yoru meta. Finally, the only other duelist that is on our radar that we seem to bring up every few weeks is Phoenix. Phoenix received a rework a few months ago, and he's been pretty solid ever since. Honestly, even before the rework, Phoenix's win rate was pretty high, and it's partly due to how simple he is. Ult into sight, flash this angle, grab an ultimate orb. He's really hard to mess up, and although he doesn't quite tap into the same potential that Yoru might, sometimes for ranked, simplicity is really what you need. Speaking of simplicity, that is kind of the name of the game when it comes to controllers. Turns out that smokes are an important part of playing controller, but the second most important is being able to fight with your gun. Clove takes this to a whole nother level by being able to fight freely without worrying about dying. Many people expected the smoke nerfs to knock Clove off of the top of the controller meta, but honestly, it's hardly done anything. Clove is still the highest win rate agent in the game by far, and it just goes to show how strong their kit really is. Being able to die and not feel nearly as punished as other agents is just something that is so freaking powerful. It's very difficult to run into a situation where Clove cannot impact the game. You could be in a 1v1, but it's as if you're playing a 1v1.5 if there's a Clove on the enemy team, and that is kind of crazy. Numbers advantage is a really important part of tactical shooters, and being able to basically always give your team numbers advantage, or even just mitigate your losses while being at a numbers disadvantage is very, very strong. But the best part about this is that it takes literally zero coordination from a team perspective. There are other controllers that offer very powerful utility, but they take more team coordination to get the most value out of them. Think of something like Omen or Viper or Astra, for example, the most popular controllers in pro play. In ranked, Viper is very, very rarely picked, and Omen's win rate is atrocious compared to other controllers. And it's not because Omen is bad, it's just because what he does takes a little bit more coordination. He wants to blind for his teammates and potentially take advantage of his global smokes or his TPs to make plays. That's just harder to do in ranked. And it doesn't even need to be drastically more difficult. Just being slightly less efficient than playing Clove can make it not worth it. Now, the other controller that we recommend for ranked has been strong as Brimstone. While underplayed, this guy is just really freaking easy and impactful. He's got the best molly in the game, a fantastic ult, and 3 easy to use smokes. He's not flashy, but he's just really good, and people are still sleeping on him a ton. Next on our list, we've got the Initiator meta, and honestly, there's not too many new developments here. Kayo did receive buffs last patch, but we don't really believe they are going to push him more into the ranked meta, and so far, we haven't really been seeing anything shaking up in that department. But if you've been sleeping under a rock, basically Tejo and Breach are still the top dogs. Specifically Tejo, you're just seeing him ran in pretty much every single map right now. It's kind of disgusting, and oftentimes he is paired with that Big Daddy Breach right next to him. These two just sync up so well with the classic stun salvo combo, making them incredibly lethal together, and also great at executing sights, defaulting, pretty much whatever you need him for. Until Tejo gets nerfed, I've got bad news for you. This is just going to be the meta. These agents are just way too strong together, and the only thing that can tone it down is some sort of change to Tejo. The difficult thing on Riot's end for this is that I don't think that they can make Tejo's missiles any less lethal without destroying the agent. If the missiles don't kill players, then they are obviously just a lot less threatening and kind of defeats the purpose of them. They could potentially make it so that he gets less of them in a round. Like maybe just make it so he gets a total of 4 usable salvos. That probably won't gut the agent, but it's a good start. Not sure what they're going to do about it, but they've got to do something because he is dominant, which is kind of a shame because there's a lot of really good initiators in the game right now. For example, Sova is another excellent initiator seeing some play. He's really the only initiator competing with Tejo and Breach right now. Teams oftentimes like to pair him with Yoru, where Yoru can gather information for Sova to ult people, or even Sova can clear out angles with his recon for Yoru to TP into. They've got some pretty decent synergy, and if you got lineups for Sova, he can be an insanely powerful agent to play and carry ranked with. We recently had our experts gather up all of the best Sova lineups from pro players and compile them all into a handy dandy course over at SkillCapped so that people can have all of their lineups in one place. Some of these lineups are literally sick. Like seriously, check this one out. I highly recommend checking out this course if you're looking to master Sova in the current meta, because I can promise you that when Tejo gets nerfed, Sova is going to be back on top. Other than that though, it's worth mentioning that we are bumping Gekko and Fade down a tier. Although all initiators are pretty strong right now on their own, we simply just can't have every initiator sending the A tier. Some of them are simply just going to see more play than others, and we wouldn't deem any of them bad, but in comparison to Breach and Tejo or Sova's info gathering, they just don't really stand up to the competition. Finally, for our Sentinel category, I've been saying it for weeks, but Vyse has been the top dog for a while. She's strong in pro play, and she's even stronger in ranked play. With the nerfs to her Razorvine and wall duration though, it has brought her a little bit more in line. That being said, Vyse still feels incredibly strong. She is a nice middle ground between a Sage and a Cypher, being able to bring a tripwire to her team, whereas Sage, after walling, kind of is just sort of out of utility. This is saying something though, because Sage is also really strong in ranked right now too. The truth is that you just don't always need to bring tripwires. Sure, they're helpful to have, but in ranked, teams are just not that sneaky with their strategy. The fact that Vyse can get the best of both worlds though is insane. Pick Vyse, guys, I promise you it is definitely worth it. Aside from that, Cypher and Killjoy are still the two other Sentinels on our radar. Cypher is the second best choice aside from Vyse. He's just more flexible than Killjoy is and doesn't really have to deal with his utility being destroyed as easily in the current meta. And then Killjoy is still good on select maps, but she's just not the #1 pick. We do have a hunch that Deadlock is going to start popping up more in the meta going forward after her changes a few patches ago to GrabNet, but we are still waiting to see that. And if you struggle in ranked, then let me tell you how we can get you back on track and ranking up in no time. As mentioned with our brand new Calm Aim course, we will teach you everything that you need to know about how aiming has developed over the last 10 years. We'll teach you the established proper technique that aim pros use to maximize their accuracy and with far less. Trust me, I know that aiming can feel so hard sometimes, but we'll help make it stupid simple and get you ranking up in no time or your money back. Don't forget that our site subscribers also get direct access to our coaches in Discord so that you can get personalized feedback just for you. Nobody understands how to climb out a low elo more than us, so if you're looking to rank up, be sure to check out SkillCapped using that link below. And other than that, my name is Casey, and I'll catch you in the next one.